Hi, I'm Carlie Weaver, and welcome to my life. I'm currently an RA in Mills Hall. Over the past year and a half, I've made a lot of amazing relationships with my STARS residents and the residents throughout the building. I've learned a lot about social justice from my head staff, central staff, and my SJE queen, Becky Marquez. I have a pretty comprehensive understanding of social justice because of these people. I've been an RA for a year and a half now, and I feel like I'm ready to expand my knowledge and interests. I'm ready for a new challenge, and that challenge is SJE. The most important thing a returning staff member can do is set a good example. For example, this past year, I let some new staff members shadow me on my rounds so that they could see what needed done and how to do it. I also taught some of my staff how to write and submit Maxians and duty logs. These are all things I intend to keep doing because I love supporting my staff and seeing them succeed. I'm very tactful. I don't beat around the bush, but I know to keep other people's feelings in mind too. For example, most recently, one of my staff members was telling me about a situation she was in with one of her residents, where they had messaged her and she was not sure how to respond. She was very stressed out about the situation, so I gave her some advice on how I would respond to the resident. My staff member was very appreciative of my help, and she was able to have that conversation with her resident and the situation was resolved. In my staff evaluation, the feedback Tessa gave me was to take more time for myself and to delegate tasks more often so I'm not overworking myself. With the diversity bracelet curriculum we just had, I made sure the tasks were delegated between the 4 of us in my group so that I did not end up doing all the work, because if I do not stop myself, I will do it all. It is hard for me to let go of all of the responsibility, but I'm slowly making progress. My first step in any situation is to always make sure everyone involved is safe and not in harm's way. A specific situation I had to deal with this past year was residents smoking in my bathroom on my floor. In the moment, I called public safety to deal with the situation. I followed up with my head staff to let them know that I had noticed a pattern. I also talked to my staff to make sure that they were being aware of any smells during their rounds. Every time public safety was called, we just barely missed whoever was misusing the bathroom. I made a point not to accuse anyone, but I sat my residents down and told them whoever was doing it was breaking policy and my trust. I asked my residents to consider whether this was the kind of community they wanted to live in. This must have struck a chord with my residents because I have not had any issues with it since. If I could do this over again, I think the only thing I would change is that I wouldn't take my residents' behavior to heart as much. I was really upset and felt disrespected when this became an issue, but I've learned that my residents' actions do not reflect on my quality as an RA. My actions reflect on me. I am very lucky to not have any ghost residents. However, I have in the past. I think the most important way to support these residents is to help them to find a place or organization on campus. And if they don't go for that either, reach out to them consistently to check in and make sure that they're doing well and be a person there to support them either way. I handle my weekly commitments very well. I have a lot of responsibilities that I take very seriously. I schedule out my semester at the beginning of each semester, and every week I make a plan of what homework and tasks need to be completed on each day. Because I do this, I have plenty of time to set aside to relax or hang out with friends. I plan on continuing to do these things because it's working really well for me. I would like to work on my procrastination though. I plan on forcing myself to do all of my work first for 30 days before I do anything else, so that it'll become a habit and it'll come to me naturally. I've learned that I'm passionate about social justice and personal wellness. The 8 dimensions of wellness truly do affect the way that our residents function in their everyday lives. I always knew I was passionate about justice, but after everything I've learned, I can't help but educate people around me about how behaviors and word choice can become social justice issues. Talking and starting the conversation about identities and social justice allows residents the opportunity to think about their own identities and get to know themselves. My community was made aware at the beginning of the year that I do not tolerate bias and not being willing to discuss differences. We have a gender-inclusive floor in our building, and while some of my residents might not agree with the components of the community, they hold nothing against this community and they live peacefully together. In addition, the majority of my residents are very religious. When I first identified myself as an atheist, their reactions were pretty intense. I informed them that they had very misguided understanding of what it meant to be an atheist, and I explained what it means to me. After having that conversation, they have a better understanding of different identities. I think freshman year students hear a lot about social justice, identities, and wellness during their freshman year. But after that, it gets kind of hard to get upperclassmen involved in social justice curriculum. While I am pursuing an SJE position, I do not plan on abandoning what I have learned as an RA about making connections and creating a community. Because as an SJE, it is your job to bring the community together despite differences. I think I would be best suited in 500 Wabash because I have a lot of interest in working with those upperclassmen and getting them involved. And I believe I have the dedication to really get our apartment-style residents out and involved in their communities. While I believe 500 Wabash would be the best location for me, I'm also very aware that it is a building with very few available positions. That being said, I think I would also be a good fit for the university apartments because it is a similar style to 500 Wabash. My only reservation is the distance from campus, but hey, at least I have a reliable car. Speaking of cars, I gotta roll out, but thanks for stopping by. Catch you later.